And there you go, you're live.
All right, hey guys, how you doing? It's the Do Carpenter and the always beautiful Mrs. Do Carpenter. And this is our Saturday live show. We're just going to talk a little bit about the progress that we had this past week and what we're moving on to start doing in the upcoming projects. Obviously, this past week we finished the slab inside the end of the barn, which is just adjacent to our aircrete lab shipping container. Now, that gave us a ton of space and flat space and to do projects and pour aircrete and do the things that we need to do. This week, I just got the plasma cutter set up, and we're going to do a video specifically about that and edit that one out, and we're going to use it and we're going to start cutting in the doors and windows on the aircrete lab. Simultaneously, I just got a call from Julie at Dirt Patch Heaven, and she kind of wants to do a back and forth, so we're thinking about taking the rocket stove system that we're going to put together. So simultaneously I'm building that, and I'm going to build some extra double wall stovepipe and whatnot, and she's thinking we could put it in a 2,300 square foot house and see how it does, right? And so we're really excited about that, because she not only has her off-grid cabin on her property, she has a home that they haven't lived in for years, that they were renting out, and her renters are leaving, and she's thinking she can go back and forth and do experiments in the home, it would be similar to the basement that I drew up for the Kickstarter, and put it in the basement and see what happens. And so we're kind of excited about that. So we're going to start the doors and windows, and I'm going to start building the stove simultaneously. Mrs. Honeydew has put the kibosh on my tractor project. Her and Dana got together, and she bought the thing for me like a month before I actually got it. She said she wouldn't give it to me until after I finished the forklift. And then I got a big surprise about my little tractor that I wanted so desperately to rebuild and restore. But she's afraid it'll just be a distraction, so we're going to work on the doors and windows, the stove, and some aircrete pours as well.
It's not that I don't want him working on it. I know I really do want him to work on it. He just has so much going on right now in so many different directions. I'm just trying to harness the energy.
Put it in the right direction.
Right.
So, while I'm doing those as well, I'm going to be working on the retaining wall blocks out of aircrete, which is something that people have asked for. And I'm going to be working on our evaporative cooling wall that's going to cool the whole end of the barn with a prevailing wind breeze while we're working this summer. So that's going to be
super fun.
Super fun. And I'm also drawing up on the drawing board on my drafting program some plans for a wind turbine to power different apparatuses inside of our aircrete lab. So those are kind of the areas we're going to focus on. Oh, wait, no. One of the main focuses before I even do the turbine is I'm going to do the aircrete pumping system. One of the biggest things outside of the individual types of projects that people are wanting to see is they're wanting to see, can we pump aircrete? They love the idea of aircrete. They see how people are building domes and all these different, and I built obviously a shop or a tiny house situation, and they're seeing it, but they're not really enthused about the idea of climb ladders with 5-gallon buckets and dumping it in an arched form or in the ridge cap of a roof or something like that. And so one of the main things people have been asking for is the pumping system for aircrete, and that is one of my biggest projects that I'm going to be working on simultaneously while I'm doing the stove, the doors and windows. The doors and windows, honestly, guys, shouldn't take but a couple of days. You know, once I buzz out the holes and frame them up, they should be in. But the whole process and the creative process going through building the pumping system may take a minute. So, but that's one of my main priorities. So let's check and see who's on. Wow, we got a lot.
Hello. I don't know how to pronounce the name.
Jacqueline or Josh?
No, Joe Quinn.
Oh, Joe Quinn.
David Severance says greetings from Florida. Well, hello.
Ken Nielsen said hello.
Yeah, Ken. Sorry about that. I missed that, Ken Nielsen. Jack Quim said hello again. Alan Ingalls says good morning.
Good morning, Alan.
Right. Terry Oak says good morning from Alaska. Hey, Terry. Hope you're having a great day in Alaska. Joaquim, we don't know how to say that name, but he is from Brazil. That's awesome. Kenny Bean says, hey, from East Washington.
Hey, Kenny, how you doing?
Right. Joel says, good afternoon, my friends. Well, good afternoon. Tubular Guy 9 says, morning from Mobile, Alabama. Good morning. William Christ says, greetings from Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis, that's awesome.
Yeah, you guys should check out William Craig's, his posts. He is a fabulous photographer. And is it Instagram?
Yeah,
right?
he has an Instagram and he takes
goodness.
some pretty darn cool pictures. Luann Hoffman says, good morning. Ooh, wind turbine. I'm excited. I'm always excited about all his interesting projects he comes up with. Mitch Anthony says, good morning. Well, good morning back. Peter says, hi guys, keep up the good work. Well, thank you. David says, what are your thoughts on using MGO rather than in Portland for aircrete?
They're just for different applications. That's the magnesium, I believe, cement system. You can aerate it a little more and make it a little bit lighter, but it's typically they just use the MGO for straight insulation, not for anything structural, and they'll fill gaps in walls and spaces and stuff. And they'll also use it for, because it is a good fire retardant. I don't think it's nearly as good as aircrete because you can build a whole wall out of aircrete and it is a little bit better. But I think it's a good system. It's quite a bit more expensive than Portland cement. So that's one thing I'm going to be working on is doing an insulation system around our container in the aircrete lab. And we'll see how it works out with aircrete and I'll have a better opinion on it. And I may get a bag of that magnesium cement product and try it out and balance the two out. But as far as cost goes, I think the Portland is better, but we'll see.
David says, good morning all. Tubular Guy 9 says, I guess he's telling us how to pronounce the name, Joaquim.
Oh, Joaquim, okay.
Okay, thank you, Tubular Guy 9. So it's Joaquim.
And then we have another one from Brazil saying hello.
Mason says, hi, I'm from Brazil. Well, hello from Brazil. That is awesome, Brazil. Wow. Edie Gray Wolf says, good morning, guys. Well, good morning back. So anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I just kind of wanted to give you guys a sense of what we're working on. It's quite obvious by the videos that Mrs. Honeydew has been putting out and the Instagram. We've been working quite a bit, really hard on these logistical projects so that we can get them out of the way, these bigger projects, so that we actually can start on the main reason why we have this channel. And
It's been a long process getting there.
it has. It's been quite a process, and we went through the same thing last year when we built the Aircrete shop. You know, we were pouring slabs. Mrs. Honeydew and I actually mixed that one up in a mixer. Luckily, it was only a 10-foot by 12-foot slab. But all the time during the prep, we couldn't wait until we could get started pouring and experimenting pouring the Aircrete wall panels. And I remember that first Aircrete wall panel. We actually kept it. It has chicken feet marks in it, and we just hauled it out to our shed out there. And I think we're going to use it in a planter for Melanie's mom, my mother-in-law. And we're gonna, she wants to do planters. That's one thing, another thing that we were gonna work on. But I've got to get pouring some Aircrete, and that's what's really important. I actually had a gentleman get a hold of me from Wisconsin, and he said, this thing isn't working. I built your machine and whatnot, and he hadn't watched enough or done enough research, and he basically just filled a bucket with foam and tried to put dry Portland cement in it and mix it up, and he didn't understand that you had to do the slurry first and then mix the foam in. And so I need to get that back to basic series going right away.
David says, obviously using it with the hemp with the goal of completely structural giant Lego block.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would that work with, instead of the Portland, with the hemp? With the MGO and hemp?
I would just have to do some testing on it to know. I am gonna test the PVA fibers and put them in some Aircrete blocks and do some compression tests on them, and we'll find out the difference between straight Aircrete with just the bubbles and the spherical shapes all throughout it versus mixed with a fiber. And it really doesn't matter if it's a hemp fiber or if it's a polyvinyl alcohol, a PVA fiber. We're just, as long as the cement will bond to it, it's going to add some strength. We just have to see what one's better and what one's going to do more. So we also have some elastinite fibers to check out and some other things. So
we have more testing coming out.
Yeah.
All right, Heaven Bound Home says blessings to you too. Well, thank you, Heaven Bound. That's awesome.
I always love those.
Right. Edie Gray Wolf says, do you have a simplified list parts of the foam mate that isn't 4 pages long? LOL. Well, that is more than just a list. That is a directions on how to put it together also.
Right. And I'm gonna say no. That's pretty simple. When I started Aircrete and was looking into foam generating machines, the ones I looked at were very complicated. They had high pressure pumps and different valves and hoses and stuff, and I tried to simplify it and take it down as basic as I could, and that's how the foam mate was born. And so if somebody has a way to make it, simplify it even more, more power to them.
Well, you actually have with some of the parts that you have, the elbows and the
right.
stuff that you've special ordered. But just to go out to a normal parts store, it is a longer list.
It is. It is a much longer list. I sell the valve kits on our Etsy store. I'll send out the valves that I use, and they eliminate like 2 or 3 brass parts because they're an actual brass valve that screws in and it has a nipple on it that you can just plug the hose on. So it eliminates elbows and it eliminates the brass nipples and this whole conglomeration being screwed together. Though that's the way I used to make them. Those valves that I special order, I have them specially milled and made, and so it's kind of hard for me to make a simplified PDF on with parts and stuff that people can't go to the hardware store and get access to, that they actually have to come to me for. But I offer that as an option as well. So you can go to our Etsy store or onto my website, honeydewcarpentershop.com, and you'll see there's a kit with just the valves and just some of the harder to get parts.
All right, so Joel says, I know you said Aircrete has some structural application. Will it work as a floor system or not?
Yes, but not all by itself. Okay, if you take any Aircrete wall panel without any type of a coating on it, you can take say a screwdriver and scrape it, and you can turn it into powder and scrape off of it. So it's not necessarily the best wear surface in the world. So you can use it as a floor, but you're going to have to put a tile or some kind of a wear surface on top of it. If you're going to use it as, like Mrs. Honeydew and I are getting ready to pour a floor. Well, I don't know if we're getting ready to do it right now.
It's an idea we have.
It's an idea that we have. But she wants to have a heated floor, and I want to pour 4 inches of Aircrete, a pretty dense mix, but still have quite a bit of R value, and then run PEX pipe all through it, and then pour like 1.5 inches or 2 of hardened concrete on top of that. That way the insulative Aircrete below will force the heat up as you run hot water through the PEX. And I'll probably run hot water through the PEX with some kind of an external boiler system that's run, with a rocket stove system.
Edie Greywolf says, don't need all the pics, LOL. Edie Greywolf, got 3 forges to make plus walls for my forge building I am making. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
That's cool. Pamela Chadwell says, hey, guys.
You know, if he's making a forge system and he's going to be throwing sparks everywhere and doing that type of stuff in there, that is where Aircrete shines as for building a shop, because it's basically a completely fireproof wall panel system. You could throw sparks on it all day or weld right by it, get it hot. It's not gonna be an issue. So that's a perfect application for an Aircrete building, is a blacksmith or a forge building. Okay.
Tubular Guy 9, I just watched your slab pour and long pressure washing rear view looking good.
Yeah, it's all me, buddy.
David says, hello, I'm David McBride from Texas. I like watching your stuff because it helps answer some questions. Awesome, David. We love to hear comments like that, so thank you for saying that. And he likes to experiment and find out all the questions in his head too. So.
Okay, this guy's funny right here.
Terry Oaks.
He says, my seeing eye dog needs the pictures to explain the assembly instructions to me. So leave the 4-page instructions as they are.
Terry, you're awesome.
Well, the instruction manual for assembling and putting together the rocket stove kits are going to probably be more like 60 pages, guys. So,
yeah. And so some of the reason that it takes a lot of pages for that instruction kit and everything is I actually went and found pictures. So you guys actually have pictures to look at to make sure you get the right part.
right.
William Craig says, I watched the time-lapse video post of the Aircrete lab floor build. Wow, great view. Thumbs up. You're awesome, William. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, and on that time lapse, that was our first experiment really doing time lapse. And we did a pick every 5 minutes. Believe it or not, when that concrete truck moved in there, we only got like 2 or 3 picks of it. So it just moved in, moved out, and the concrete was poured like that fast. Because I mean, those guys, they charge you $130 an hour if it takes them more than 10 minutes to unload their truck. And we were ready for them. I told Mrs. Honeydew that concrete's going to be coming hard and fast, so they're just going to start dumping it, and we've got to screed it off and smooth it out and get them boys out of there. And that's exactly what we did. And so it seems like on the time lapse that if we would have done a picture maybe every minute, it might have been a little more complete. And so we reset the time lapse up on the shipping container, looking right at the wall where we're going to put in the doors and windows and whatnot, because there's a couple of windows, a big tall overhead style door, and then a people door. And so we changed the the amount of pictures to take one every minute or so, instead of every 5 minutes. So it should be a little bit better.
But I still didn't set the time and date on that camera.
Oh.
So if anyone looked at the date and time on that, it wasn't recorded 2 years ago. And William Craig, thank you again. You are awesome. Edie Graywolf says, I just meant a simple parts list without the pics. Oh. Yeah, we don't have that,
okay.
But to print out, maybe we could put something like that.
Yeah, I don't see why not. It's it's one of those things where I think that 10% of people would be fine with that, and they could read a simple parts list and understand what those parts are. But about 90% of the people would have to see a picture and take it to like a hardware store and go, do you have something like this?
That would be me. Yep.
Yeah, so.
David says that China has tons of mixers with the pumps that will do what you want. That's cool.
They do. There's even an American company. I forget the name of it. The reason I was looking it up is because I actually, Steve from a town south of here had a parted out one that was built by an American company in Arizona, I believe, and it is an actual aircrete mixer, a lightweight concrete mixer. It's not, and it's a commercial one, but it was in parts, and all the parts are there except for like the bearings and stuff, so I'm gonna have to basically rebuild it to get it to work. And it did have a pumping system on it. The rotor for the pumping system is there, but the stator isn't. And the stator is the kind of the moving jelly part that as this thing rotates, it kind of pushes the cellular stuff through. And there are companies out there that build these. Even those ones from China are quite expensive to get them built and shipped over here. They will do that, and they will pump the aircrete, But what I'm after is I put together a DIY pumping system. One that somebody can watch my video and straight up copy it. And even in a third world country. I mean, this thing is so rudimentary, it's going to be out of stuff that's available to almost anybody. And that's what I'm after.
Yeah.
If I had thousands of dollars to dump into this project and could just buy a commercial aircrete mixing apparatus, maybe I would have done that, but I didn't. And necessity is the mother of all invention, and that's how the foamate was born. And that's the same way that this pumping system is going to be born. It's going to be born out of, I want to do something that anybody can do. And because right now, guys, there are thousands of people, thousands that have copied the foamate. And we've sent out probably 400 of them all over the world. And that's pretty incredible. And what made that incredible was the fact that it's a do-it-yourself and it's a small-scale thing. And if I could replace hauling a 5-gallon bucket up a ladder and into a deal with pumping aircrete through like a 4-inch fire hose and just having a person down there that could run the pump either by hand, or you could put a gear reduced electric motor on it, but have it so it could work either way. I think that would be pretty epic.
It would be.
Yeah.
Cool idea of the multi-layer slab with the aircrete insulated in a hard top layer. Awesome,
Yeah,
thank you. Hello from Michigan, Malbar says. David says, yes, I know you want to try and build your own, but some of the other projects you are doing is far more important than making equipment that is available on the market. There's a point.
Yeah.
Steve G says, hello, Mr. and Mrs. Honeydew. Well, hello,
Steve.
Edie Grey Wolf says, just ordered the valves. Awesome. We'll get those
Cool.
sent out soon. Hello from Argentina. I believe that's what it says. I'm guessing. Beaver Creek Farm Life says, sorry I'm late. Was working on a vehicle. Beaver Creek Farm, you're good. It's awesome. And he put the link to our Etsy shop on. So thank you for putting that on also. You know, Beaver Creek Farm Life helps us out a ton. So he's awesome, you guys. Tubular Guy 9 says, your tow motor resurrection made me bring my old Key TM26 high wheel walk behind mower back from the dead.
That's
with
perfect.
New belts, carbs, spindle bearings, and a belt pulleys. My yard thanks you.
Awesome.
Right.
And you know, guys, it's amazing what's possible with a little bit of elbow grease sometimes, you know. And I know not everybody has the mechanical aptitude to rebuild a carburetor or do the things I had to do to get that tow motor going. But a lot of people do, because sometimes they're really basic. And when you're growing a small business and you have limited resources, you know, sometimes it's you can take a piece of equipment that there's another good example where he said some of the stuff we're doing is way more important. That is 1,000% true. But there's forklifts out there that are available on the market too. They just cost $20,000, you know, and I needed one to move stuff around and the heavier stuff, and it was really helpful, especially moving all that wood and stuff out of the end of the barn. But $20,000 is a lot of money.
Right. So Beaver Creek Farm Life put our email, honeydewcarpenter1@gmail. So if you guys would like to send us an email, you can. And he also put our web link on there, honeydewcarpentershop.com. So go check that out. Michael Atkinson says, have you decided on roll doors or sliding doors on your container? I have 2 rolling doors on mine and they are prime for mice, snakes, and dust. I will go with sliding doors next time.
Oh, okay, yeah, we have decided. We are going to do doors on rollers, but they're going to be on a cam system and cammed back a little bit. So basically, I'm going to cut out the door with a plasma cutter. So it's just going to be a really nice smooth cut. We're going to frame it in, and we're going to build the frame. I'll put it up and just kind of tack it into place so I get everything just perfect dimensions. And then I'll just kind of cut those tacks and bring the frame down, put it on the perfectly flat cement, which is really, really close to perfectly flat. When we put water on that thing, I mean, the deepest puddle was like a 32nd of an inch. I mean, it ended up...
We did good.
Yeah, we did good. Mrs. Honeydew did a lot of the float work on that concrete, so. But we're gonna take it down after it's all squared and perfect with the hole in the building and make a frame. And there, right there on that frame, which will be the complete surface of the door, we're gonna put a weather stripping, a heavy duty industrial rubber weather stripping, similar to like what's on the end of a bottom of a garage door. And the way the door is going to slide is you'll undo the cam latches, grab the handle, and you'll have to pull the bottom out a little bit, and it'll kind of raise it up the way I'm going to have it angled to where it hangs on the rail that it slides on. You'll have to pull it out a little bit and then slide it over. And we're going to have 2 of those doors, and they're going to slide in opposite directions. So maybe I'll have to be really detailed and show people pictures of my drawings on the engineering, the side view of where the rollers are going to be, how it's going to hang, and then what angle you have to pull it out at to start sliding it. And obviously I'm going to put stops up there that'll require you to bring it out at a certain angle to slide it over. But when that thing is shut, you'll slide it over and let it swing down flush and then do the cam lock on it. It's gonna suck it right down and it will not be primed for mice or bugs or anything.
I picked up a used concrete mixture at a garage sale for cheap. Hope it saves me time. Thank you for all your work. I think I have gotten most everything except for the kits from you.
Okay.
That's awesome. Awesome. Steve G says, I am back. Tablet crashed. Hello from Ontario, Canada. Well,
hey,
hello, Steve. And glad you made it back. Sorry about that crashing. Tubular Guy 9 says, everyone smash that like button. Yes, you guys, don't mind. I mean, yeah, please do go ahead and hit the like button for us. And thanks, Tubular Guy 9. Steve says, the pump idea is what I was thinking about for injecting aircrete into molds. That's awesome, yes.
Oh, okay.
David says, however, I have something kind of designed that I gave up on because I'm going much bigger. Oh. Go much bigger, that's cool. A simple auger will push the aircrete through a 2-inch fire hose.
I actually built an auger mixing apparatus, and it does pull aircrete for a short distance up, but I don't know that it would create enough pressure going up like 10 or 15 feet, that the back pressure coming down, that it would overcome it. Because any type of an auger system that you have is typically going to have a tolerance around whatever tube you're putting it in. And unless it's just kind of a free flow and there's not much resistance on it, there's a good chance that that slurry could get past the tolerance around the outside if there's too much pressure on it, and it might pop the bubbles as well. So I have experimented with pushing aircrete through tubes with an auger, and while it does work, I don't know how much pressure it creates, because in a 3-foot tube spinning at 200, maybe 200 RPM, it barely brought it up 3 feet over the top to mix the foam into the aircrete. So, but
That's something to think about.
yeah.
And Beaver Creek Farm Life, put our Facebook link on there. So go check out Do Carpenter on Facebook, you guys. David McBride says, I want to build an underground aircrete dome house. So I will have more questions about aircrete domes and the strength of the dome under 2 to 4 feet of ground. 4 foot of ground. That's awesome. And we are hoping to build something here soon too, and
Right.
excited about doing that.
And if
too.
you're going to do it underground, it has to be engineered for whatever type of soil is going to be covering it and around it for the outside. Because the hydraulics of soil, when it gets under saturation and freeze-thaw cycles and stuff, is completely different from different types of soils. I actually ran a soils lab for several years when I worked for that engineering firm over in Boise. And we would test all the different mechanical characteristics of different types of soils under different conditions in that laboratory. And the reason was so wherever it was, they would go take core samples and then we would test, that sample, because that's the exact soil that's going to be surrounding it, whether it be a basement or whatever it was. And so it's really important to understand that. So there isn't really a blanket system for doing that, but I think I could come up with a blanket system, one that would be structurally sound enough that it would hold almost any of the worst kinds of soils.
Alan says, in my case, buying an expensive pump built for construction companies building high-rise structures, I need something for a small backyard jobs. I'll build mine. That's awesome, right?
Yeah. So, and that's what we're doing.
Right.
And for us, it was all just really small projects until we chose to take on one and go to the next level, which was, a little shop, and come up with the wall panel system. And it worked great. Grandma and Grandpa loved their shop. So
Tubular Guy 9 says that I worked outdoor power equipment for 30 years, so it wasn't hard. I just needed a push. I got his old equipment going. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Go Tubular Guy 9. Lori G says, good afternoon from South Carolina. I'm making travel arrangements for the Honeydew University. Will you confirm the dates, please? I did get your email, and I am putting together everything, but it is like
the full third week.
the full third week, Monday through Friday of the third week in August.
Yeah.
And I will get you an email. I will do that later today and give you a little bit more information on that. Okay, Lori?
And with the
Sorry about
exact
that.
dates.
Yeah. The Kickstarter says third week in August, but shows the dates for the fourth week, August 26th through the 31st. Huh. I will double check on that, and I will get you an email. And I need to send an email out to everyone.
I think we did yeah, that doesn't sound right.
Right? And we didn't realize that we did something on there, so Lori. So I will double check that, and I will get things out.
Okay. Thank you very much for bringing that up.
Yes. Steve G says Canada, long weekend, Canadian version of 4th of July. That's awesome. Michael Gross says, hello from Ontario, Oregon.
How you doing, Michael?
Hello. It's always good to see his name.
Yeah.
Steve says auger system will work. Longer hose reduce the dimension of hose. Cheaper the Guy 9 says a regular Shotcrete pump would work. Beaver Creek Farm Life says, any ideas how to pour an AC sloped slab? An
aircrete sloped slab. I hadn't thought about it. I'm sure there's a way, but that falls kind of under the same parameters of doing a 3D building using aircrete. And I think I'm gonna have to do some serious experiments with different fibers in it to get the slump where it's stiff enough to do something like that. But I think it's definitely doable. It would just have to be a fiber reinforced situation. And
we're so close to getting ready to do all those experiments now that we have a big space to do that. That's level.
Mm-hmm.
But on a slope surface, you may not want level, so we'll see. Dave Severance says not 3 inch or whatever. Is that 3 or feet?
3 foot, but 4 inch PVC.
Reduced to
2 inch. Most likely could 3D print the blades.
Well, it sounds like he's got some good ideas. Steve
Yeah.
says a big auger ram into a smaller diameter hose will lift it up. Probably.
Yeah.
George D. Hart says, how long does it take to get a foam mate?
We have been running about 2 weeks. Where our goal is to get it down to a week. And we just got the table in my little manufacturing area put up and put together. I'm thinking that we can get it down to a week now. We were right in the middle of pouring a slab. Last night I actually was out right until I barely made it get them to the post office. And those were out 2 weeks, but that was because we were just kind of taking on all these big projects trying to get to where we had a working space. Now that we have a working space, we're gonna try and get it down to a week. And what I mean by try, because I understand Yoda, there is no try. There is either do or do not do. But what we're gonna do is experiment with getting everything out within 1 week, and see how it goes and how close to our goal we get. And then we're gonna reset the parameters in our Etsy store from a 2-week shipping time to a 1-week shipping time, if it is something that's doable. And I really think it is. I spent a lot of time and put about 14 of them together to get caught up. And so I think once we get completely caught up and our backlog is all shipped out, that if we just concentrate on if I can work 1 day a week just building foam mates, then we can get them out within a week, within 3 to 7 days.
And Lori G says, no worries, I just wanted to clarify before booking, enjoying today's content.
Awesome.
Thank you for that. Steve says, think 4-inch PVC auger into a 1-inch hose. Okay.
Oh.
On getting that to pump up. David says, Steve G. Dream Builder 007 says, hello from Guantanamo. I'm not sure how to say that, but Central Mexico.
Central Mexico.
Well, hello back from Idaho. Dave says, looks like we are on the same page. Dave and Steve, right?
Oh.
S. LeCroc says, hey guys, I'm back in Montana. Must be warmer in IF. Too cold to do much up here right now. It is raining outside, and I think it's like 40.
It was 38 degrees this morning. It might be 40 right now. So we have our moments. There was a couple of days last week, or this past week, that were just blistering,
Beautiful.
beautiful. I say blistering. That means it got up to like 69 or 70. And luckily, it just happened to be on the days we were pouring concrete. If you guys watch the time lapse, you can see that it got rained on a little bit, but it had enough time to get stiff, so you can't even see any pock marks in it or anything.
Steve says, yes, Dave Severance, I think we are. How do we connect? So they are wanting to get together and do some more talking and understand how to get that pumping system up and going.
Exchange your information. You guys build that auger one, and I'll build the one I'm building, and we'll try them both out, and we'll just kind of share back and forth the information. But I'm looking at my goal is to pump it as fast as possible. A 1-inch hose seems a little bit small to pump large volumes, but we'll see.
Right, we definitely will see. All right, if you guys don't mind, give us a like.
Oh, we're
on
in
our channel.
45 minutes already.
Yep, and is there anything else you want to say before we go? Because that is all this stuff.
Oh, perfect. No, I want to get out there. I bought some new pigtails and stuff for the generator to hook up to the welder and the plasma cutter and stuff. I'm excited to go out and get that stuff going. So we will see you guys next week and on the next one.
William Chris says challenge. Yes.
Yeah.
And Dave says, is this the equivalent of a Bobby Faye showdown?
Yes.
Tubular Guy 9, do you think the shotcrete pump would deliver aircrete?
No, I don't. And this is why, guys. Even if you're doing a hardened concrete and doing it through a shotcrete pump, we would always double the air entrainment chemical in there just to try and get it to stay at like 5 or 6% air. You always want a little bit of air in concrete if it's going to be subject to any type of freeze-thaw cycle. Otherwise, it just cracks up too much. And when you shoot aircrete or any concrete, it knocks the air out of it. I tried spraying it, and it just it didn't work spraying it with high pressure air. As soon as it hit, it would pop the bubbles and knock the air out of it. Not all of it, but enough that it made it not as aerated as I would have liked it to be. And so I think we're just going to leave shotcrete for putting mortar and stucco down over the finished product and over a mesh, you know, for strengthening the outside. And that's just my personal view after doing some experiments on it. And then also those shotcrete apparatuses use a piston pump thing, and it's, I mean, you lose a lot of air that way too, because it's a really high pressure situation.
Everett says, yep, did a like and enjoyed the show. Well, thank you, Everett. Tubular Guy 9 says, y'all have a good one. Steve says, challenge accepted. Dave says, I put up my email. Thumbs up. Look like the tax gator in Florida to find me. David, so yep, yes, the compression will remove air, Steve says. Yep. All right,
Yeah.
so
All right.
we are out. So you guys have a great day.